Good afternoon. Yes, it's not morning this time, or night, in fact. I am, I guess, creating a somewhat new series of, I'm not going out and doing big hikes, so I'm going out and trying different types of photography, and all of them are happening at Battery Point. So, going out today, gonna go out to Battery Point, come back. No big deal. I'm actually got a different bag on. It's the old bag, because my new bag is just it's kind of a hassle if I'm not wanting to pack a whole bunch of gear. But anyway, point of today is to go out and take some IR photography. So I will be photographing the infrared spectrum rather than photographing the normal visible spectrum. Mixed results, I'm sure, but the nice thing about IR is that going out in the middle of the day is actually advisable, because there is more warmth. There's going to be greater IR, which means I don't have to wait for 30 minutes to get a single exposure. Now, it is windy, so hit or miss, because this is all going to have to be long exposures. So let's see if we can get some. So, the key thing with IR photography is, since you can't see it, it is very hard to judge what your composition is going to look like before you actually do it. Sorry, I'm reviewing. Inevitably means it's a lot of trial and error. Now, what's interesting about infrared photography is that when you're actually processing it, it kind of inverts all the colors that you expect. So all the darks of the forest are going to be very bright because the trees are reflecting a lot of infrared light, as where, the lake isn't, because it's cold. Now, I may have misspoken a little bit earlier when I said that it was due to kind of the heat reflecting off. If I mentioned heat at all, it was an error. Technically speaking, yes, the infrared light that I'm capturing is in a sense based on heat, but it's not just this is hot and this is cold, right? If you go up and touch these trees, yes, they will probably be a little bit warmer than the water, but not as significant and stark a contrast as you will see show up in the images. Now, the reason for that, for all of you physics buffs, is that, radiation is actually a very small part of heat dissipation. So, photons leaving with energy that are in the near infrared spectrum are not the main thing causing heat, right? Often when we feel heat, it is either, if we're touching it directly, right, it's through conduction, or more aptly, how you can put your hand over a burner stove and feel the heat. That's because it's heating up the air. That's convection. So in one sense, yes, this infrared is related to heat, and that's often what most people think of when they hear infrared, but for a number of reasons, including the fact that I am shooting near infrared, which is infrared light that's near the visible spectrum, it's not really heat vision. I'm using a regular camera with a kind of inexpensive IR filter. There are other ways to do IR, obviously getting an IR camera. You can get what's called a full spectrum camera. So IR is another source of noise in your camera, so you put a filter around it to ensure that even though it is there, it doesn't get through to the sensor. Now those aren't perfect, so essentially what I'm doing is blocking out all visible light except for the infrared, so that that's the only thing that hits my sensor. If you get rid of that IR filter on your camera sensor, your camera will accept a wider range of electromagnetic radiation, aka light waves. If you cut all those filters out and just replace them with basic glass, you get what's called a full spectrum camera. I may have ruffled some feathers with my astrophotography sucks video. Thanks for the views, by the way. Full spectrum is one of the things that astrophotographers like to use because they are trying to get every little photon they can. And you know, some nebula really only show up under infrared inspection. That's why you would want a full spectrum camera. Also, you know, it gives a certain, I don't even want to say it makes it different, but like, it gives an additional quality to just a regular camera. Alright, so one final image to leave the day off. I'm actually not at battery point, I'm at a little offshoot, but yeah, I think I probably got some good stuff. Obviously you know more than I do right now. Or at least while I'm recording this. You know, that's landscape, astrophotography, IR now. I mean, I could try street, but I feel like A, it's starting to get winter, so it's starting to get cold. So probably not great for that. And B, I'd have to really get a good density of people, I'd have to go down to Boston. I really don't want to do that. So, yeah. But if you have a style of photography that you think I should essentially make a video like this on, I'm always looking for new stuff. I guess if you have some, put it in a comment. Otherwise, I'll see you when I see you.